Hey everybody, Ms. Binns here. Here's part 2 of elimination day 1. So I went through and I kind of explained how to do these for the most part. You're going to want to look for X's that have the same number, Y's that have the same number, and make sure everything's lined up. Okay, so like kind of in number 2 right here, I made sure that these X's were lined up on top of each other, Y's are lined up, and then your equal signs, alrighty? So as I go through the next problem, it'll make more sense, hopefully, as far as things needing to be lined up. We're going to jump to the back side of this paper. I'm going to do number 6 to you, 8 and 10. 10 is kind of one of those special case ones, so I would pay attention to that one for sure. Number 6, though, if you look here, let me go ahead and highlight these here. Okay, so my X's are on top of each other, my Y's are on top of each other, and my equal signs are on top of each other. So everything's lined up is what that means, okay? So that next step is going to be to look for those variables that have common numbers. So in this case, I have a 10 and a -2 with my X's. No, those aren't common. Get rid of those. In this case with the Y's, however, I have -3Y and 3Y. So they are the same number. In this case, on the front, we had to multiply one of them by a negative in order to make them opposites. In this case, these ones are already opposite signs. So in that case, if I have -3 and a +3, guess what? These are already able to be eliminated. Alrighty. So then we're going to just treat this like a big addition problem then. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do 10 and -2. So 10 minus 2. Alrighty. And that's going to give me, 10 minus 2 is going to give me 8. And then don't forget to bring down your X. All right, my X is, or my Y is eliminated there, so those are just out of there. And then over here, I have an 18 and a 6. So again, we're going to want to add these. We're going to want to treat them like a big addition sign. So if you grab your calculator and do 18 plus 6, see what you get. In this case, you should get, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these highlighting spots so we have less stuff on here. 18 plus 6 is going to give you 24. Alrighty, and now we're just down to a one-step equation. We just have to get that X by itself. In this case, the 8 and the X are being multiplied, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide by 8 and divide by 8. So that's going to leave me with X equaling 3. All right, so I found one of my variables. Now, we're going to want to go back and we're going to want to look at one of these original equations and we're going to want to plug that 3 in for one of them. Alrighty. I'm just going to go with the bottom one. You could do the top one if you want, and whatever you want to do. I'm just going to go with the bottom one because they're smaller numbers. So in this case, I'm going to plug it into there. So I'm going to take that 3 and I'm going to plug it in for X in that bottom equation. Alrighty. So when I do that, I'm going to do -2. Now I'm going to plug in this 3 we just found. Alrighty. And then you have plus 3y equals 6. Alrighty. So then that little dot right there is going to bother me. Perfect. Okay. So then now you need to go ahead and solve it. So in this case, -2 times 3, that is going to give you -6. Bring down your 3y and bring down your 6. Alrighty. Now you're down to a two-step equation. So again, what you do to one side, you have to do the other. How do you move a positive or a -6? Gotta make it a +6. Alrighty. These ones here eliminate. Bring down your 3y equals 6 plus 6 is going to give you 12. Alrighty. And then last step here is going to be to divide by 3. Because the 3 and the y are being multiplied, you got to divide them. So these 3's over here are going to eliminate. See how I'm using that word there? And then y equals 12 divided by 3 is going to give you 4. And then again, you want to write your answer as an ordered pair. So your answer should look something like that. So in this case, you're going to take that 3. So you're going to take our x first, plug in that 4 for the y, and there's your final answer for that one. Alrighty. Again, if I'm going too fast, I am posting these completed notes on the sheet for you guys to reference back to. Okay, so don't worry if I go too fast, you do have that to look back on. Alrighty, I'm gonna jump down and do number 8 with you. As you can see with this one, my X's are lined up, my Y's are lined up, but look here, my equal signs are not. So the first thing you want to do is get that lined up. So in this case, I could move the 3y. So my plan is going to be to move this 3y to the other side of the equation. So if I have, let me exit back here. Okay, so in order to get that 3y on the left side of the equation, x equals 3y plus 11. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the opposite to move the 3y. That's all you got to do. So minus 3y. Let's see if this will cooperate. Okay, so I'm going to minus the 3y on this side and then do the same thing on this side. All right, so then in doing that, those cancel on that side, and you are just left with x minus 3y equals 11. Okay, so then that's just replacing that top equation. Let me get rid of that actually. So I just converted that over to there. So then now I'm just going to rewrite these again. So let's see. If I have x minus 3y equals 11, okay, so I'm taking that one I just converted over. I swear these pens, perfect. Nope, still not perfect. Sorry guys, bear with me. All right, and then I'm just going to rewrite the bottom one as well. So the bottom one was 2x minus the 3y equals the 16. Okay, so in this case, looking at these, I have an x and a 2x. Those are not really the same numbers, so I'm going to keep going. With my y's, though, I have 3's. Okay, so those are common. So those are going to be a little bit easier to deal with. So in this case, remember they need to be opposites in order to eliminate them. So I'm just going to go ahead and on the bottom, I'm just going to change all the signs to a negative. So -2, I'm going to change this 3 to a positive, and I'm going to change the 16 to a negative. And then remember, we just treat them, you just got to treat it like a big subtraction sign, or a subtraction problem, or addition problem, okay? So in this case, when I do x, remember technically you add a 1 here, 1x minus 2x, that's going to give me -1x. Looking at the, let me see, 3's here, okay, -3 and 3, again, those are, here, let me get this, get rid of all the highlighting, otherwise you guys might get confused. Okay, so these I know turned out to be -1x. Big thing with this one is they are the opposite, so these can actually eliminate. And then that leaves me on the other side. This was actually a negative as well. I forgot to add that in there. So if I have 11 and you subtract 16, that's going to leave you with -5. Oh boy, I'm losing it. Okay, -5. Perfect. Okay, and then you need to go ahead and you need to divide by -1 and divide by -1. Alrighty. So then when you do that, do my math there. These eliminate over here. You're left with x equals double negatives. Remember, those turn to positives. 5 divided by 1 is just 5. So there's one of my variables. X equals 5. So remember, you're just going to take that and you're going to plug this, the 5, back into one of these original equations for the, let's see, for x. So pick one of the equations. I'm just going to go with the top one in this case, just because it seems a little bit easier for us. So I'm going to plug it in for that x right there. So in doing that, I'm going to take the 5, plug it in, okay, and then the rest of my equation is equals 3y plus 11. Alrighty, so I basically just took this, and plugged it into the other equation. Alrighty, and then now you can just go ahead and solve it. It is a two-step equation. So start by subtracting 11 on both sides. Okay. So 5, if you do that in your calculator, 5 minus 11, it will give you -6. And then again, bring down your 3y. Then I'm going to go ahead, divide this by 3, divide this by 3, y equals, these eliminate, and then it's going to be -2 for your answer for that one. Okay, and then again, you have to write it as an ordered pair. So write your x first, so it would be 5, comma, -2, and then this would be your final answer, 5, -2. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do number 10 with you as well, just because this one's a little bit different, okay? So looking at number 10, first thing you want to check is that, okay, my x's are lined up, all right, that's good. My y's are lined up, all right, that's good, and my equal signs. The equal signs are lined up, okay? So everything's lined up for this one. Oh, what just happened? Messing things up here. Okay, so those are all lined up for us. So then now we just have to go ahead and we have to see what's going on here. Okay, so looking here, my x's have the same number as do my y's, okay? So in this case, they're the same numbers, but remember they have to be opposite signs in order to eliminate them, okay? So I'm going to go and I'm just going to change one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change the top, okay? Just because. So I'm going to change this top one to a -3, the bottom one, or the 4 to a positive, and then the 10 to a positive. Remember with these, you just flip the signs of all of them. Why is this not working? Change that to a positive. All right, then you kind of just do what it says. Alrighty, so in this case, if I have -3 minus 3, those, when you type them in your calculator, you're just going to get 0. So those are actually just going to cancel out. Same thing with 4. So when I'm looking at this one, 4 and -4, again, those are just going to cancel out. So on this side of the equation, I'm just left with 0. Alrighty, so this is going to equal 0. All right, and then on the right side of the equation, you have 10 minus 13. So in this case, 10 minus 13 is going to give you -3. Okay, so as you can see, this one is one of those special cases because we don't have any variables left. Okay, so this is one you kind of have to think about. So does 0 equal 3? Are 0 and -3 at the same exact spot on the number line? No, because they're two completely different numbers, okay? So in this case, this one would be no solution because they are not equal, okay? Say I had 0 equals 0. In that case, that would lead to infinity because, yes, it does equal each other, okay? So that is it for elimination day 1. So I will post a part 3 video going over day 2. So